Well, many things have changed, and still, it's not enough if you want to eradicate the offshore world. So what happened is that we saw that many countries made new laws. For example, my country, Germany, has made a new law against the misuse of the offshore system, and countries like India and all kinds of other countries, even Ecuador, they had a referendum saying that no politician should be allowed to be the beneficial owner of an offshore company if he doesn't tell his people. So that's on the micro level what has changed. On the bigger level, what has changed is that we generated a moment of worldwide attention for this system that is flawed in so many ways that the call for a register of beneficial owners is now heard in many countries, and Great Britain, the UK, they want to do one, and many other countries say they also want to do one. And so the thing is now that the question is, should we believe politicians and should we wait what's going to happen? Or that's more for NGOs, or should they fight for it? And we as journalists, we can lean back and watch and see what happens. But what we heard from the world of finance is that it's been a big hit for the offshore system, and many companies are now not really happy to go this way, because not because they fear legal problems, because a lot of this stuff is legal, sadly, but because they don't want to be exposed in public anymore. I don't know exactly what the British institutions did, to be honest, because we watch so many different countries doing what they do. So I don't have a special focus on Great Britain. I know that they said they want to fight tax evaders. I think there was a kind of a press statement last summer or something like that. And I know that David Cameron had said he wants to have the register of beneficial owners. But I also know that, the British oversea, the British Virgin Islands and Guernsey and Jersey, all those jurisdictions are big problems, are still big problems. And the British Virgin Islands is a huge tax haven and one of the most shadowy tax haven we know at all. So I think there's still a long way to go for the UK. I mean, it's a complicated system because in first you benefit if you attract many corporations with low taxes, for example. But in the end, some countries already have a kind of, protection tax against tax havens. So if you form a company in the British Virgin Islands, then they assume that you don't pay taxes there, so they tax you where you are. And this, it would be so strange if the UK would be considered as a general tax haven and there would be protection taxes against the UK. But in the end, this is what could be happening if they go this completely wrong way. I think this extreme way of tax competition is the wrong way to go in a world that's so connected and so globalized now. And I think if you think it through, if every country tries to give the lowest tax rate they can, then in the end, there's no money anymore in societies because everybody is just going lower and lower and lower. I mean, seemingly they want to have the taxes of their own citizens, but they don't care for the other countries, and that's exactly the wrong way to tackle the problem. That's all you can say about that. I think so. The main thing that we achieved in terms of journalism is that um, we showed the world that if you collaborate, you don't lose, but you win. So because many people thought that if you share a scoop or data or whatever with your colleagues, then your paper gets less attention because the others are publishing too. And we could show that it's right, you do get less of the attention because the others are publishing too. But you make the cake so much bigger so that your piece of the cake is still way bigger than the whole cake you had before. So I think that's something that was new to many many journalists who hadn't worked before in this field or who didn't know about this. And we already see that many colleagues are now following this way, and there's a lot more more collaborative efforts in the whole world. We see more collaborations arise in many countries, in the US, in Germany, in Europe, and I think that it's not a new model, but it became so big and so you know everybody just saw that this is really working good. So now they try to do it on their own, and that's a good thing for journalism. For my career, obviously, I mean, I was a German journalist before, working investigative. I won some of the major awards in Germany, but nobody knew me outside of Germany, of course, because I'm publishing in German, and that has dramatically changed now, and it's a great thing, of course. That's a really important thing because without whistleblowers, we couldn't do our work. We need people, we need sources, we need people who know more than we do. We need people who have insights, and we especially need whistleblowers when they can talk about, how the law has been broken and how the law has been bent. And the main thing is that as a whistleblower, if you see that something is not right, it's you who believes that it's not right. You seldomly know and can be sure that somebody broke the law because you know this only in a democracy after there has been a court case and a judge ruled that this was against the law. So the problem is now when you blow the whistle and it turns out it was not against the law, you have no protection at all in most countries. And I think this is a big problem. And even if you can really prove that somebody broke the law, you're still screwed because you still go to jail, you still have a court case, you still lose your job. So I think we need a very complex system to protect whistleblowers and to help people to tell the truth and then to live with that and to have a life with it. And that's not possible now in all countries that I know of. And it's a huge problem because we punish the people who do really real service to our society. Look at Raphael Arlay and Antoine Deltour, the two whistleblowers from the Luxembourg Leaks case. They did a huge favor to whole Europe because they told us how Luxembourg, this tiny country, helped the big multinational corporations to dodge their taxes. They stole money from all other countries. They stole the money legally, mostly. That's what Jean-Claude Juncker said all the time, our EU president. But then it turned out, we had the case against Fiat, we had the case against Apple, and the courts ruled it's not been legal. It's not been legal. So whatever Luxembourg is telling you, they did the whole deals were illegal, at least in parts. And so the whistleblowers helped all Europe to get more taxes, to build hospitals, to build schools, to build roads, to help the poor. And they have been sentenced in Luxembourg. And they're happy that they don't have to go to jail, but their lives, they had jobs before. They can forget this. So if you do a story and you find something is wrong, don't stop there. Go further and ask, why is this happening? And whose fault is it? Because this is the point when things are starting to get really interesting. This is the point. If you ask the question, what is happening and whose fault is it? Who is responsible? Then you're starting to get a real investigative story. And I think we need more of those stories. I know that the media is in a phase of transformation and nobody knows which kind of jobs will be available in 3 years or 10 years. But I think there will always be a need for really good investigative journalism. And another part of this profession that is now getting more and more important is data journalism. There are so many free data out there that you only have to take and you only have to look at, but you have to know how you do it. They are free. The most really good data sets are free out there. And I think that, so if I would be a very young colleague now, I think I would learn how to code, and I would try to learn everything about data journalism I can learn, because data journalists get hired. That's a very simple truth in Germany in the moment.